You are welcome to yet another episode of HN What's Your Say? The #1 listening show where we discuss real important issues with important people like you. We are still featuring R. Kelly. Real name Robert Sylvester Kelly. Also known as the R&B King. We have time and again reported on a number of scenarios whereby the people behind R. Kelly's ordeals have broken the US law in one way or another. Sometimes deliberately to get their way, and other times involuntarily when their desire to destroy R. Kelly overrode their emotions, and they got carried away making some serious legal mistakes. These mistakes began with lead government prosecutor Angel Kroll, who many people have not even had a chance to see by face, considering she had to be transferred from the district attorney's office for the shame she brought to the entire department, and quietly given another government office to run just to keep her monthly paycheck coming in. For those who don't know what Angel Kroll did that brought so much shame to the DA's office, causing her to lose her original job, she is the official that made use of a disposable burner email to communicate to one Jim DeRogatis, a journalist who has dedicated his entire career to fighting R. Kelly in an effort to solicit evidence against the R&B King. This was illegal, considering the role of collecting evidence is not for the government prosecution to do, but the police, which is the only body mandated to carry out investigations, and later hand over all evidence collected to the prosecutors. As if that was not enough, Angel Kroll also exchanged flirtatious text messages with a principal witness on the case prior to the trial, complimenting her salacious pregnancy pictures and more. Getting unprofessional like this with a witness can affect the dynamics of an entire trial, and should cause the need for a retrial, as well as a penalty for the prosecutor involved. While it was reported that efforts to locate Angel Kroll so she could explain these claims all failed, it is known to HN that she was quickly whisked away to another government duty, and the matter ignored until today. Another mistake that followed was when the Bureau of Prisons official took time to illegally tap R. Kelly's phone calls from prison, record and listen in on what were supposed to be his private conversations with his attorney, later leaking their findings to famous blogger Tasha K, and of course the government prosecutors to use against him. While we are not aware of what steps were taken to deal with whoever was responsible for this, we know for sure that whoever did this was supposed to lose their job after committing such an illegal offense of this magnitude. It however looks like of late, with the corruption within the government system on the rise, the new way of handling such matters is to simply reallocate jurisdiction and assume the problem has been mitigated. It looks like Judge Ann Donnelly's rather malicious actions that saw R. Kelly unfairly determined guilty for all 10 counts, and subsequently sentenced to a whole 30 years in prison did not go unnoticed, and these have put her job as district federal judge on the line. However, just like in many other cases involving the main actors in the R. Kelly takedown project, Judge Donnelly will simply be reassigned another duty, and this time in the higher court where she has the opportunity to redeem herself by undoing the mistakes she has made. While we cannot blame her much for what transpired during the New York trial, even though she allowed witnesses that lacked credibility on the stand, we are not comfortable with the way she was quick to reject all the demands in post-trial motions submitted by attorney Jennifer Bonjean, which asked that the mistakes made during the trial process be corrected. Pointing out the various irregularities during the trial process, Jennifer Bonjean demanded a retrial be granted to R. Kelly, but Judge Ann Donnelly didn't even give it a thought. From her counter-submissions to answer Bonjean's repeated queries, Bonjean sounded like she was no longer serving the people of the United States but some other master altogether. This is likely the reason the Department of Justice is considering relieving her of her current duties as the Brooklyn District Federal Judge, and reassigning her another duty elsewhere. Meanwhile, according to research, Ann Donnelly has not been as careless with cases like these in the past. She is known to have disqualified an entire law firm that mishandled a case, when it was determined that they did not do an effective job providing sufficient and effective legal counsel to their client. After learning that one of the attorneys was double-dealing like Nicole Becker was, and representing someone from the prosecution camp that stood up against their client, Ann Donnelly was quick to disqualify the entire team of advocates. By failing to do the same with Nicole Becker and team, Judge Ann Donnelly displayed her desire to play double standards, treating some cases in a certain way, and other differently. This also serves to prove that she probably wasn't herself when she made all the odd decisions against R. Kelly in New York. She was likely under pressure from whoever has the larger interest in this case. It's therefore no surprise at all to learn that she may not continue serving as the Brooklyn District Federal Judge for a long time. And while there is a possibility she will be allocated a new role in the justice system, we can only wait to confirm this when it happens. Otherwise, her job as federal judge is indeed on the line. After the government prosecutors and the New York court making all these serious legal blunders, the Chicago judge who felt a need to carry on with the legacy of bad acts goes on to influence the ruling of the jury, when he decided to assume his own indictment and ignored what the actual document said. Judge Leinenweber was asked by the jury, which felt R. Kelly was not guilty of coercing anybody, how to handle this particular section of the indictment that read as follows: that the defendant enticed and coerced the young women. The judge, who had just returned from his popular nap between testimonies, was quick to tell them, if he is guilty of one thing, then he is guilty of all. To mean that if the defendant was guilty of enticing, then automatically he is also guilty of coercing. This got me doubting whether Judge Leinenweber actually did study English language back in school, not to understand that the word carries meaning and changes everything when added to a sentence. Considering the indictment was reading different, a mistrial was imminent. According to Frederick Spears, it shouldn't matter to the judge who wins the trial, and they are not supposed to basically favor one side or the other, but unfortunately that's not the way it is nowadays. The district attorneys, the judges and lawyers are all very corrupt. There are even a lot of instances where the defense attorneys will side with the prosecutors. Can you imagine this? And the judge will also know about it and help them out to convict, when it's actually the defense attorney's job to defend their client guilty of the crime or not. I think we all know by now how corrupt the judicial system is, especially for black people. According to Live Talk, if Ann Donnelly played by the rules, she wouldn't have anything to worry about. Let the truth come out about the entire circus, including her inconsistent behavior, so that the world can know who she really is. If you wish to take part in a live interview on this channel discussing any of these topics, let us know by emailing us on sashahnnewsroom@gmail.com for scheduling. That is all we had for you today on HN What's Your Say? To keep updated whenever we post a new video, subscribe to this channel now. Also remember to hit the bell icon and enable notifications. And feel free to share your opinions with us in the comment section below, and let us know if you would like us to publish your views in our next release. We value all our subscribers' opinions.